Okay, welcome back to solo role playing Shadowdark and Terra Invictus. One thing I will note about Terra Invictus, at least written as is, it doesn't seem like there's a massive amount of magic items, right? We've gotten one so far, a magic sword we found in a hot spring, but that's it. And I feel like had I been running them through modules, like, like say DCC modules to get them to level 3, we'd probably have a boatload of magic items. I don't know what the expectancy is in a Shadowdark campaign of what how many you're kind of expected to have. I know that's not going to be in any book or anything. I'm just kind of curious as to like if the intended rate from based on like the designer is different than like actual old school stuff. Like, are you meant to kind of have everyone's kind of meant to have +1 weapons and armor by level 3 or 4, I don't know. I don't know. If we look at treasure tables, the very high end, basically you're talking about like a 5% chance or something, when rolling on treasure 0 to 3 of getting +1 armor with a benefit and a curse, or a 1% chance of getting a +1 magic weapon with a benefit. On the 4 to 6 table, though, it doesn't have any +1 items. Now, you'd think it would be like more likely to find a +1, but no, they just don't have any +1s, and instead it's like the same chances to get +2. So I think then it's really up to a DM to kind of seed these things into the world. But that could be tricky when you are running something like this. It's very pre-written hex scroll and stuff. I think a lot of DMs just don't think or aren't sure of where to just like put magic items. Like maybe the Drider chest that we just looted. Maybe I should have had a magic item in there, or a couple magic items, or trade. We could have traded out coins for magic items. We ended up getting quite a lot of treasure there. We got like 240, 400, it was like 520 gold or something. And if you just compare that to like this treasure table, a +1 magic armor is valued at 150. So really, I mean, we could have swapped out 450 gold and thrown a few magic armor in there, or a couple magic armor and a magic weapon in there, and just not had much like coinage. And I think it's probably good if you're running a campaign to kind of balance out those two things, because if all we ever get is money, if that's the only thing we ever get is coins and money and jewelry and treasure that we're going to sell and all that, it's all going to carousing, and that means that all we get is XP ever. And I think as a player, that's not, I mean, it's fine, but it's not as exciting as finding a cool, unique magic item. And I'm not saying just a +1 longsword or something. I mean, like, interesting magic items. Or even like magic potions or magic scrolls. Like, the wizard is going to want as many magic scrolls as he can get his hands on. So, yeah. But it's tricky. Yeah, I think a lot of, I don't know, I'd say like a lot of what's intended here is just like getting treasure from random encounters. Hard to say. Well, we'll keep going. We'll see what we find, what we want to, but I'll keep that in mind to try and convert stuff. So we spent like a bender in Moryu. We've obviously rested up now. We're all Good to go. And we don't have any spells missing. We're at full health. Everyone has a luck token. We could not be set more. We've been making just kind of short trips, like day trips, essentially, around the area, so we haven't really consumed that many rations. But, I mean, there's, like, not much incentive to just ride out for, like, 3 weeks, you know, into the wild blue yonder. Theoretically, that there could be more treasure, but we don't know. We know there's some sort of eye tyrant cult operating out at 3324. So if we wanted a challenge, we could go for that. But we're going to go for the Onkegs first. Depending on how we do there, we might go kick the Frost Dragon's ass. And then depending on how that goes, then maybe we'll go for the eye tyrant. We also wanted to hire an army to take out the hobgoblins, but I just blew all my money on a weekend bender. So, whoops. You have 340 gold. That's not much, and we're probably not going to actually do that because, again, the trying to figure out the conversion or trying to figure out the numbers involved in hiring an army is a little tricky. I think we certainly need more than 340 gold. So we'll leave it. All right, so we're going to go, let's do 3120. I don't know if we've been there or not. Yeah, we'll do 3120 and then go straight over to the Onkegs. But we'll explore something a little fresh here. Technically that is unfamiliar territory, but seems kind of unlikely for us to get lost. I'll set the DC pretty easy then. We'll set it at 9. Okay, we're fine. All right, and we will roll for, okay, a 2 in 3120. It's extremely windy today. A very windy morning. Light rain as well, so it's kind of just blowing rain in our faces. It's not pleasant. But there's rolling hills here, home to a variety of small mammals and birds. The high winds make hearing difficult. -1 surprise. Now that's very interesting. -1 surprise for a rule system that has no dice rolls indicated for surprise. But, I mean, it works well for Axe, which we borrowed, of the D6, and you have to get a 3 or higher to avoid surprise. So it's now you have to get a 4 or higher anywhere in this hex. We rolled 2. So there is a Grimlock looking for a severed human leg that he dropped earlier. Okay. So we know what he's doing, we know how many there is, and we know all that. We don't know if we're surprised, and we don't know if there's a reaction roll. Visibility is not good. It's extremely windy, there's the raining, you know, so this is probably going to be a relatively nearby encounter. So we'll just roll surprise for both of us. We'll roll for us, then we'll roll for him. Again, we have to get a 4 or higher on the dice to avoid being surprised. We rolled a failure, so we are at least surprised. He is not surprised. Okay, so we don't really see this thing. He's maybe up on a hill above us, or he comes up over a hill and sees us down at the bottom of the hill as we're kind of riding, or, you know, trotting past in our horses. Let's get his reaction roll then. Okay, pretty negative. And this is a Grimlock, which is like, you know, cave people. They're like filthy, pale cavemen. So he's looking for a severed human leg. This is a cannibal. This is not a good person. But it is 1v4, and I don't know if he's quite that stupid. Let's go down to the monster section just to see his intelligence. Intelligence of -1. Okay. It says that he navigates the world by sound and touch alone. Well, that's probably pretty rough for him right now with the wind and the the rain and everything, that might affect his ability to assess how many of us there are. He might only think there's 1 or 2 of us and he wants to attack. So I'm going to give him a morale check here to see if he's bold enough to do it, but I'm going to lower it to a DC of 12. So he needs to roll 13 or higher on this roll to attack. Okay. So he thinks better of it. He has the jump on us if he wanted, but it'd be pretty dumb of him to do so. But he may go and inform others. Now, the surprise determines if we're surprised, but it doesn't necessarily determine if we never see him or not. Because if in this case, all of what I just said is all happening in the DM's head, you know? So, I'll rule that when we're about, like, I don't know, 60, 70 feet away or something, we'll say Mithrix looks behind her. She just has a feeling she's being watched or something. And she looks, and up on a hill behind us, like it's behind, sort of behind the top of the hill, looking down and staring at us, seemingly, is this, like, pale humanoid figure. And then it shifts out of sight. Now, we could charge after it and try to cut it down. Or we could just keep riding and just move through and not worry about this. There's pros and cons, I suppose, to both ways. Now, as a solo player then, if I'm meant to run this as a solo player, we know that there's a trio of disgusting Grimlocks living in a hillside cave. They have a bloody, dismembered torso remaining from their most recent meal, but it won't last more than another day. They're very hungry. We also know there's a cesspool in the back of the cave that contains 250 silver, a wand of magic missile, and the bones of several dozen humanoid victims. So as a solo player, I'd be like, well, I guess I want the wand of magic missiles, so I suppose I'll hunt down and kill these Grimlocks. That's not something the group would know. So it kind of pains me to just, like, bypass any sort of simulationism and realism and just be like, well, I know there's a wand of magic missile in there, so I guess I'm gonna go for it. It feels kind of like reading a choose your own adventure book and then just, like, skipping ahead in the pages and be like, oh, well, I see if I do that, I get that, so I guess I'll go there and do that. And it's like, that's not really an authentic experience here. So I think we're just gonna move on. We're gonna be a little disturbed by this thing that was watching us, but it's raining, this place blows. We're just going to get the hell out of here. So we will move on to, I guess I'll add a note. And we know what's here. So we're just going to put Grimlocks. Okay. We're going to move to 3121. That's a 6. 3121, 6. A depressed hunting dog sitting beside its dead master will join for food. Oh boy. Well, that's really sad. So, of course, we will give it a ration. And tame this thing and you know, maybe we'll bury its master and give it a proper prayer and everything. Give the dog many pets. And we will adopt this thing. I don't know if I'm not going to have it go into combat or anything. It's never going to hopefully be in danger. I'm not going to write up stats for it, but we will write adopted dog. Let's name him, oh, I don't know. I don't like people names for animals, so we need something that's not a person's name. In a fantasy game, though, anything could be a fucking person's name, so it all doesn't really matter. But I don't want to do something lame like Spot. We'll call him Mutton. That's his name. So Mutton is just there for moral support mostly, but he is a hunting dog, so if we do need to track something, we might get advantage by having Mutton with us, which is pretty nice to have. But he doesn't eat grass, he doesn't forage, so we will have to give him a ration each day. But it's a small price to pay for Mutton. Okay, excellent. Job well done. Yeah, okay. Good. And that was on our own land. This is our property. We found this dog. Excellent. Okay, we move on to 3122. 2 is another Pilgrim's Back, kneeling in prayer. Or I could roll just like another random encounter. I could roll one from the Game Master Companion that has all new tables. Say for, oh, I see. Could be a point of interest. It could be a terrain hazard. Okay, so it doesn't have monster tables. Those are still the original. It does have monster tables based on level. That's handy. That's pretty handy. I wish this Shadow Finder had something like that. That would be really handy too. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't want to roll like a walled city or something like that, because I could roll a hazard. I don't generally find hazards that exciting to play through solo, though, so let's just roll on the original encounter tables for Grassland. Okay. 49. 1d4 wild boars drinking at a thin, winding stream. Okay. 3 of them. I can't imagine they would attack us. This is why I generally don't like animals being involved in random encounter tables, unless... Well, it's okay as long as it's just generally nothing happens. It's nice to have them on there in case you, like, need rations, or you have an army that needs food, or, you know, maybe have them interact with something else. I could roll on my encounter activity table, but we already know what they're doing. They're drinking at a stream. I don't even think I want to roll a reaction roll, because it's going to come up with, like, 4 or something, and then I have to justify why wild boars are going to charge at 4 people riding horses along with a dog. Seems really dumb. So I think we just watch these things drink and, well, like, oh, look at that. Isn't nature wonderful? Let's move on. 3123. Yeah, I don't think we need a guide check here. This is pretty clear where we're going, because the mountains are right here. Yeah, the mountains are right here. So we know that south of the mountains is where we've been, where the hippogriffs were, in the desert plain area. Dry plain, and so we're going north of the mountains. 5 on 3123. All right, it's a gentle breeze here, warm and sunny. There's a strange earthen smell, and there's a farm. Looks like it used to be cultivated land, but has fallen into disrepair. An old red barn still stands, along with a few scattered wooden shacks. A 10-foot tall humanoid figure can be seen plowing one of the fields during the day. Oh, it's Robo. Before we get to that, though, we rolled 5. We find an entire field of robust, mature corn, unharvested and attracting insects. Okay. Wow. Well, okay. So how would we handle that in Shadowdark, and how would we handle that in Axe? If the player said, well, we want to harvest all this corn. How much corn do we get? How long does it take us? Shadowdark, it's not going to have any guidance for anything. It would just be entirely spitballing. I'm just trying to put myself in the position of a DM. And then this is what the players say to me. And they're all unanimous. They're like, yes, we want to harvest the field. How long does that take? And I am committed as a DM. Maybe I've never heard of Axe. I've just discovered RPGs and I've discovered Shadowdark. That's what we're playing. I would say, well, honestly, I'd probably go to Google at that point. Like, if I didn't know anything about Axe, I'd say, how long does it take to harvest a field of corn by hand? In which case, probably a long time. Since we have AI, let's ask, how long would it take for hardy individuals to harvest a field of corn? Let's say, how many acres would that be? Probably a field of corn? That's got to be quite a bit. Let's say 10 acres. I don't know. I have no idea. Okay, that's with combine harvesters. If manual harvesting, unlikely. It would take 10 to 15 hours. That's not bad. How much corn would that result in? So 10 to 15 hours for the four of us. So I'd probably say like a 2-day process here if we wanted to start here. Total yield, 1,800 bushels. Well, there are pests, so let's say that some of it's already eaten and it's not great. So let's say on the lower end, 1,200 bushels. 1 bushel is 56 pounds of kernels. $200,000 ears of corn. Okay, but that would be at 1,800 bushels, so reduce that by 33% or something. Let's just spitball and say 120,000. We'll go on the lower end. Okay. Yeah. So 120,000 ears of corn. And that's going to take us 15 hours? That doesn't sound right at all. But I guess the harvesting is not just hand-picking corn. Oh, it says if they're hand-picking corn, unlikely for 10 acres. It would be 1,200 bushels. The time would balloon to 30 hours. Okay, so we're just chopping down crops. And then we can sort it out later. $120,000 ears of corn. That's a lot of food. And that's 56 pounds of corn kernels. That's a lot of rations, man. Yeah. So, like, 60,000 pounds of kernels. I mean, that's great. I mean, this is a lot of food. But I think this is a ramshackle farm kind of in the middle of nowhere. This is not like 3123. I guess it is adjacent to Hoolgate. And that's why the Onkegs are a concern. Yeah, this is good farmland. And so the crops stopped coming into Hoolgate. So they want somebody to go there and clear out the Onkegs, and so they can set up the farm again. That makes sense. It all makes sense. So it is a lot of food. We could probably take it to we could harvest it all up, get some carts, take it to Hoolgate, sell it to Hoolgate. How much would we get? The players ask. Mr. Shadowdark DM, how much money would that get us? Oh boy, that one you can't go to Google too easily for. You just have to pick a number. And it's either going to be not enough or it's going to be way overpowered. I don't know. I'm just going to throw out there. What's the price of a ration? That's like the only information I really have to go off of for food costs. Okay, so 3 rations is 5 silver. So 1 ration is like 1.7 silver. This is 60,000 pounds of corn kernels. It's not quite a ration. We'll cut it in half, so 30,000 silver. So that would be 3,000 gold. That's not far off from the number I kind of had in my head. I thought 2 to 3,000. So sure, we'll say 3,000 gold. But there is some pest issues, and also we're like, I mean, it's like, where did you get this corn? Are we technically stealing this corn? I think we're kind of doing them a favor, so I don't think it'll really hurt too much. But the pests, yeah, that's kind of a bit of an issue. We'll say 2,500 gold. If we harvested it all and brought it all back, that's the number in my head. Now, let's go to Axe. I'm not gonna we're not gonna waste that much time figuring out how much time it would take, although I'm sure we could figure that out. But mostly I just want to figure out how much it would sell for. So this would be grains and vegetables. The price per 10 pounds is 0.12 gold. There's more to it. Obviously, there's different, depending on the market you're selling in and blah, 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 blah. So, 60,000 pounds is 6,000 stone. So 6,000 times 0.12 would be 720 gold. Way less. And this is in Axe, where everything is valued like 10 times higher. But, if I said, okay, yeah, if you spend 2 days, you get the card, you bring it in, you sell it, you'll get 72 gold. They're gonna, bash my head off. Yeah, that's not really that much, is it? I mean, it's pretty good. 720 gold, like, picturing yourself as a farmer and stuff. I mean, that's a pretty good haul for 10 acres of, like, shitty corn. Keep in mind, like, they should have gotten a lot more than that. They should have gotten 100,000 pounds. So 100,000 times 0.12. 12,000. Oh, but that's pounds. Sorry. 1,200 gold. 1,200 gold is a lot to a normal person. I mean, that's more than most people in a fantasy setting will see in their entire lifetime combined. So, like, to an adventurer, it's like, yeah, okay, but the average person is nuts. A journeyman artisan makes, like a master artisan, like the top of his line master artisan will make 1,200 gold a year. A yeoman farmer that with 85 acres will make 1,200 in a year. Because, you got to think about the costs of running the farm and blah, 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 the taxes you pay and, all that sort of bullshit. So, yeah, anyways. Okay, well, there you have it. I think for our purposes, we're just going to leave it, but that was a fun thought exercise, I suppose. Okay, so while we are perusing the farm and looking at this big statue in the distance, it says an old iron golem still works the fields. At the end of each day, it will lay down in the center of the barn and rest. However, it is always alert to danger and never sleeps. As long as the PCs do not disturb the crops or attack the golem, it is non-hostile. Oh, okay. Well, good thing we didn't touch the crops. We were just thinking about it. A level 5+ wizard can try to seize control of the golem with an int check versus a DC 18. Failing this roll will turn the golem hostile, and it will fight until the wizard is dead. Cannot locate the wizard, or it is itself destroyed. Oh, I think that was meant to be a comma. Right. 1d4 onkegs live in the rich soil beneath the farm. They can subsist on the insects and burrowing mammals, but prefer larger wild animals like boar, deer, and PCs. They wait quietly in ambush until their victims pass overhead, gaining 1 free attack before initiative is rolled. Okay, so we're kind of perusing the farm. We're watching this iron golem, plowing one of the fields, and it's like a marvel. And that's when the onkegs will strike. 1d4. Here we go. 2. We do nice rolls usually on these random monsters. And again, I've been reading an RPG blog, like I said, from Bo Rancourt, and one of his pet peeves for modules is when they have set encounters with random numbers like this. Like, what does it really benefit for this number to be random? Why didn't Chubby Funster just pick a number of onkegs that live here? Because it like, if he had just put 2, would that have affected anything? And especially from a player point of view, whether the DM rolls for the number secretly or it's just listed in the module secretly, it doesn't change anything from the player side. It just makes it really weird and swingy. Like, 1 onkeg is kind of nothing. Like, that's not really that much of a threat for 4 Shadowdark characters. Whereas 4 onkegs could be really nasty, especially from an ambush. Like, that's kind of cruel. So why didn't he just pick 2 or 3 and call it a day? Obviously, as a DM, you can just pick a number. Like, no one's telling you have to roll or anything. And if it came up 1, I could have said, yeah, that's kind of lame. Let's make it 2, or let's make it 3. And if it came up 4, I could have said, yeah, that's going to be really shitty. Especially if I was DMing for, like, a group of newer players. Like, that could be pretty shitty. And I'm not talking about, like, there's not necessarily a need for balance in all things or anything, but it's just like, why not just tell me a number? Why? What? Yeah. I don't know what it benefits. The random encounters thing says there could be 2. So that already tells you then that there shouldn't ever be 1. If there's already 2 in the random encounter chart. So there should be at least 2, I think. So we'll go with 2. And let's see here. So this is, it's divided up by categories. The problem is, I generally don't know most of the time what category any given creature falls under. Like, what is onkeg? It's not a megafauna. Is it a protean? No. It's not a scorpion. Well, I guess I'm really curious as to what it falls under. I also don't know how to spell onkeg, so there's that problem. K-H-E-G. Onkeg is under angels. What? Oh, I see. So the whole thing is alphabetical, but he just has categories for different groupings. But the whole thing is alphabetical. So, right. but there's no animal category or anything like that. So there's bats, bears, bees, badgers. It's all alphabetical. So the categories that don't really matter that much. It's, yeah, okay. I see how it's set up. I mean, I see that this bookmark list was alphabetical, but I thought they just linked to different sections or something. I don't know. All right, so onkegs are horse-sized, rust-brown insects. They burrow vast underground warrens into the bedrock. 14 AC, 14 hit points. They bite at +4 for 1d6, or they can spray acid up to near range, +4 for 2d6. They're not insane or anything. They're only level 3, but they do get a free ambush here. I don't even roll for surprise. It just happens. Which is fine, because obviously he uses surprise dice rolls, but here it's just guaranteed. So it is what it is. So we need to pick targets for this ambush. We'll do the clockwise from Mithrix again. It's going to be Riddiger and Mithrix. Okay. So they're going to get advantage, and they're both going to try for a bite. So bite on Mithrix. That is a hit for sure. Bite on Riddiger. That is a hit for sure. Okay, Mithrix takes 4. Riddiger takes 4. Ah! Now we roll initiative. 17 for our side. And it's going to be 8 for their side. Alright, we'll say we got off our horses. To peruse the farm and watch this thing and stuff. And again, I suppose then the onkegs could have attacked the horses, but I don't like to attack animals. I'm not that way, you know? Alright, Crundle is going to charge in, of course. No time like the present. Crit! Pretty low roll on the crit. What the hell? I rolled double ones. Damn! Against all odds. Yeah, there's nothing I can do about it. Unless you can use luck rolls to reroll damage. Good question. Does it ever specify? You can cash in a luck token to re-roll any roll you just made. Well, in that case, we're gonna re-roll 2d8 plus 4. Fuck. Alright, 7 damage. Fuck you. Okay, so one of them's at half health. Riddiger is going to try to stab that one. He missed. Mithrix could use Cure Wounds on Riddiger. Probably, I only have a 50-50 shot of hitting it. And they're about to get a turn, so maybe that would be the best bet. Alright, she'll waddle over and cast Cure Wounds on Riddiger. Okay, I don't think she's succeeded on a spell cast yet. Maybe one. I think her first Cure Wounds, maybe she succeeded. I'll use the luck token. I mean, may as well. There we go. 1d6 healing. Great. Okay, and then Xandor. I could make one of them enraged, but that doesn't really help me too much. I probably should just summon the elemental, so we'll summon the elemental. Alright, we'll go with, I don't know, lightning? Fire? Fire. We'll do fire. They're not immune to anything, I guess, but fire. Alright, so that thing's gonna move over and swing at the injured one with +3 and miss, and that's it. Okay, the one that Crundle hit is going to turn on him, and then the other one, I don't know who it was on, so we'll roll a coin. One is Riddiger. Okay, so the one he went after the one on Riddiger. Okay, so attacking Mithrix then with +4, miss. Attacking Crundle, miss. New initiative. 14 for us. 12, yep, for them. Excellent. Crundle will swing again at the injured one. And that's a kill, my friends. Good job, Crundle. Xandor is going to magic missile the other one. 3 damage. It's down to 11. The Elemental. Miss. Riddiger. 3 more damage. So it's at 8. And Mithrix swinging that mace. No, we want to cleanse this. I'm going to entangle. Fucking hell, she's so bad. She's the worst cleric priest ever designed. Yeah, she's just bad, man. Okay. Well, this thing's going to roll a morale check. It has +1 will, so it needs a roll of 14 or higher to stay in the fight. It does not, so it's going to burrow. And it's going to burrow back under the ground. Which is pretty annoying, because if we want to deal with this infestation, we have to, we'd have to kill this thing. Yeah, I mean, I could send the elemental into the hole, but he's just gonna go away after a few rounds, so it's no go. Fuck, that entangle would have saved everything. But now it's too late to use a luck token on it. Shit. Now what do we do? I mean, they're horse-sized, right? So theoretically, we could... It would be a fucking death sentence, though. I mean, going down into the burrow after the Ankeg. Chasing an Ankeg. Okay, I mean... Seems like it's not... that outrageous to go down into the tunnel. This is what it looks like, by the way, if you're curious. They're pretty nasty things, and going down into the dark tunnel is sort of terrifying. They're pretty fast, too, aren't they? Yeah, I mean, they can move through the earth as fast as we can move through non-earth. But we could chase it into its lair. They usually dwell in partially collapsed burrows around 40 feet underground. Tunnels would sometimes be around 60 to 150 feet long, 5 feet high. So it'd be a bit cramped. But we could chase it to the ends of the earth. Well, if we just chase it now, it's just gonna keep burrowing forever, right? Like, you know, we'll probably get tired before it does. We could wait until nighttime or something and then creep down in there and hope that it's sleeping or like maybe we can catch it a bit unaware. Yeah, or maybe it'll just ambush us again and we'll survive and kill it. We'll see. Okay, well, we're not going to go down. That would be dumb. There's a hidden chamber dug beneath the barn, revealed by the creaking of wooden boards when anyone walks across the dirt that conceals it. It takes an hour of digging to access the contents. If the golem sees anyone accessing the chamber, it will attack. Okay, so this symbol means that we have to roll a DC 9 int check. Yeah, int versus DC 9. Okay, no problem. So we continue poking around. We go into the barn. Xandor's walking around the barn, and he feels a little something odd beneath his feet in the floor. So we'd have to dig down. I don't know if we really have shovels or anything. So it would just be like by hand. I mean, I guess I could just summon an earth elemental maybe to help. Okay, sure. I mean, I get my spells back after an hour anyways. Uh-oh, critical failure. Roll on the appropriate mishap table. That could be bad. Now I regret everything. Well, it's a tier 1 mishap, so we'll roll as D12. 4. Your hand slipped. You target a random ally with the spell. Oh, well, in this case, that means nothing. But he definitely lost it for an hour. Okay, so nothing really happens. So how long did it take us to get here? From Moru. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's 2/3 of the day. So say it's like, yeah, 1:30 or something. We spent like an hour just kind of lounging around and stuff. Well, I think we spent an hour like searching the farm to find that. So like 2:30. And then we spent another hour to get this back, and now we're going to cast it again. There we go. So, how much earth can an earth elemental move? I don't know, enough-ish? No, maybe he's like halfway down. I don't know, it seems kind of crazy. Like, how would I hear that there's such hidden chamber there that takes an hour of digging to get into? Seems wild, but, you know, wizards, they ain't got to explain shit. So he's going to have to cast it a second time now, and it'll be like 4:30. Okay. So finally, yeah, we pops open, and we see there's a hidden chamber underneath. The chamber conceals 3 sacks holding 100 gold pieces each, 1 gear slot to carry, and a fine set of reddish iron chainmail bearing a family crest featuring a hawk with wings outstretched. Now, per written, right there, as written, it sounds like it's just chainmail. It's just a set of chainmail. That's lame. I will tell you that that's lame. So we want some special chainmail that's special. So I need to go now and find another magic item generator or system. I guess we could do just using To Die For as our system. I'm not going to roll for this. We want chainmail. We want it to be +1. And we'll roll for... well, we already have the feature. It bears the family crest, and it's cool and all that, and it's reddish. So we're just going to roll for a benefit. I could roll for a curse, but I'm not a big fan of curses. I just think that the D20 table for all magic armor in your game is pretty limited. But you can roll on this a few times. +1 AC versus melee attacks, +4 AC versus ranged attacks. That's pretty good. Now, I don't know if that's in it. That must be in addition to the +1. That's pretty crazy. So, we'll say chainmail +1 plus comma +4 versus ranged. Okay, well, Krundle could benefit from chainmail. Mithrix is more important to keep alive, though. So we'll make it Mithrix, and we'll just swap out this chainmail for chainmail +1 +4 versus range. Excellent. That's going to be an AC, a modifier of 1. I can't... I mean, I'm obviously not going to be able to set it up unless you can set that up. You can set up an AC bonus, but not against specific things, because the game doesn't really worry about that. So she now has 19 AC as well. His chainmail is 13 plus 1. Okay, so 14. And then the kite shield is 3, so it's 17. And then the dex is 2 for 19. Yeah, okay, that's pretty good. Okay. So we're shuffling that. She's putting that on. And then we start hauling out the sacks, of which there are 3 sacks holding 100 gold pieces each, so 300 gold. I guess Krundle will take the 300 gold. So for those 2 things, magic armor and 300 gold, I think we're going to have to go with another 3 XP. Bumping us up to 16 for most of us. 18 for Mithrix. Very close to leveling up. Now the only question is, because we're right towards the end of the day here, does the Iron Golem see us carrying these sacks out of the hole in the ground? Because it says that if he does see us accessing the chamber, it will attack. So this is just going to be a straight Oracle roll. So we need 11 or higher. We got it. No, we didn't want 11 or higher. The question was, does he see us? That was the opposite of what we wanted. So yes, he enters the barn, and he sees us, and he immediately just combat mode activate. And we are going to have to go into initiative against a fucking Iron Golem. I imagine that's not an easy fight. Man, there's a lot of golems. God bless. Okay, 19 AC, 49 hit points. He attacks 3 times for +8, dealing 2d8 damage, or he can do a poison breath. He's only damaged by adamantine or magical sources, immune to damage from cold or non-magical sources, and healed by fire. His poison breath will hit everything nearby, a con 15 check, or 8d6 damage. This is death. This fight is death. He has a -1 dex, though, so we might win initiative at least. Oh, yeah, 100%. Okay, so we win initiative. But he does have +5 strength, so Entangle is going to be pretty tricky. We don't really have any other good option, though. If we were 1,000 feet away, I could just magic missile him to death or something, but... we don't. Krundle can damage him, and he has a 50-50 shot of actually hitting him for an average of 8 damage or so. But as soon as it's the Golem's turn, he's going to just obliterate us. So, right. Mithrix is just going to throw out... No, I don't have an Entangle. Fuck me. Okay. Then we just have to run. And he is blocking the doorway, because as soon as he saw us when he walked in, he went into combat mode. So we're going to have to try to slip between his legs, the same way the Gibberlines did. So we're all gonna have to roll Dex versus his Dex. Now, when it was 2 Gibberlines versus Xandor, I rolled once for Xandor, so it's only fair to roll once here for the Iron Golem to set the DC. So the Iron Golem's Dex DC here is fucking 17. Great. This is gonna... someone's gonna die. Alright. Xandor is gonna go first then and try to dive through. He needs a 17 or higher. Holy shit. Alright, he dives between the legs and sprints out of there. Riddiger. Shouldn't be much problem. Does he get advantage on something like this, you think? Climbing, sneaking, hiding, applying disguise, finding and disabling traps, delicate tasks. Not really. Fucked up. Luck. Come on, baby. Oh my god. He's got the worst AC, so the highest chance of getting obliterated, and he only has 4 hit points, so we're gonna take Xandor's luck. Come on! I know it was unlikely, but Jesus. Okay, so Riddiger just gets cock blocked. Just kind of slams against this golem's leg. Mithrix, though, needs a 15 or higher. Crit! Okay, that gives luck to Riddiger, maybe for another attempt. And then Krundle needs a 14 or higher. Excellent. All right, use that luck. Come on, Riddiger, you got this. Yeah, boy! We all slip out of there. And we race to the horses and climb on. And ride the fuck into the sunset. Jesus. That is terrifying. I mean, maybe you wouldn't allow a luck token to be used retroactively like that to give him another chance, but as a DM, I'm the type to allow stuff like that. It's a resource you have. I play with a bunch of people that get, you know, pretty sad if their character dies from when you know. I mean, if I didn't have the token, if she hadn't crit, yeah, he would have fucking died. I mean, that would have been it. That would have been it. And really, all of us could have died. Anyone was like, had the golem won initiative, like he would have just breathed poison, and we all would have died. So that was very close. But we ride out of there, and I think we're gonna. Let's just go to like the edge of this hex, because I still want to go to the mountain peaks. So we go to the edge of the hex and camp out for the night. Which means I am going to have to roll a... I'm going to roll a second day encounter for this hex, because we spent a lot of time here. Okay, nothing. There is still the other Onkeg, so we haven't cleared this yet. But I'm wary of that farm now. We have to eat some rations unless we foraged. Again, I'll set the DC at 12. Xandor foraged. He's smart. Riddiger didn't forage. Brundle foraged. And Mithrix foraged. So that means I have to consume 2 rations. One for the dog and one for Riddiger. So that'll be this. Easy peasy. Alright. And then 2 encounters overnight. We're fine. New day. Well. Do we think that the Iron Golems, Okay, well now here's the question I really have. I mean, this is the end-all be-all question. What's the range on Magic Missile? Okay, we need more of a specific answer, or a general answer on range. I guess most people are just interpreting it as far means anything up to what you can see. But that's really ridiculous, because obviously you can't shoot an arrow out to anything you can see. Damn it, Shadowdark. Always something coming up that just doesn't make any damn sense, and it's just like, well, use your best judgment. I want to use my best judgment. I want you to tell me. Not a lot of discussions. It seems weird. It's such an abusable concept. Damn it! Nothing. No discussions about this, really? I feel like this should pop up all the time, routinely. But once again, you know, like I said, Shadowdark is a game designed for dungeons. And this sort of thing doesn't really come up much in dungeons, because usually you're in, like, 20 feet rooms or things like that. Yeah, we're just getting like the same discussions. Damn it. No one has talked about this ever? Really? Seriously? I mean, sure, I can say you can cast Magic Missile as far as you can see. Fine. But what if a player wants to know how far they can shoot their longbow? Like, there's just no discussion or guidance about any of that. It's just... Oh, here's a rules FAQ. What? That didn't even... What? Far range wasn't even mentioned in this. Yeah, I mean, I don't really like close, near, far. I like numbers. I mean, I'm a number guy. I think there's no ambiguity then. I don't value the simplicity of near, far. Like, it's not a problem. Tell me they're 40 feet away and they're 40 feet away. Tell me that it has a range of 150 feet. I know it's now 150 feet. Like, I think close, near, far just brings up more issues than it answers. So fuck it. Like, I'm sorry. We want to follow Shadowdark as close as I can, but there's just certain things it just does not answer or provide for, and if I were a player and I was trying to do some Magic Missile stuff, I would say, hey, the rules say it's out to sight. I can shoot it to anything that I can see, and it doesn't miss. You can't argue with that. That is what the text of the book says. Like, how are you going to argue with that? Like, sure, you can come up with your house rule if you want to change that, but that's what it fucking says. Within sight. That's it. So, and we're on grassland, like farmlands, and this is a massive golem. I don't know if we have like a height or so for a golem. I'm sure Axe does. 12 feet tall. I'll be able to see this from at least like what, a mile away or something. I'm pretty sure I can plink this thing dead. Now, granted, that doesn't help us at all. We don't get anything for doing so. If this were Axe and I used Axe stats, well, for one, it would have 16 hit dice, which is absurd. But it has a 20-foot movement speed per round. If I'm a mile away with magic missile, I will kill it. Maybe I'll run out of magic missiles. It's possible, especially with no luck tokens. It is very possible. But then I can just come back the next day. Like, we just ride off on our horses and come back the next day and keep plinking away at it. 16 hit dice would be, what, 9 times 8? 72 hit points. Yeah, it would take a while. It'd take a lot of magic missiles, but if we killed it here, we'd get 7,200 XP, which would be amazing. In Shadowdark, though, the way we're running here, we don't get anything for killing this, other than, like, access to the farm again if we really wanted. Which we kind of do want, because we want to maybe go hunt down the Ankeg or something like that. Because presumably it's nursing its wounds down in that tunnel. So I think what we're going to do, instead of plinking away at the Iron Golem because of the ambiguous rules, we're just going to ride up. Like, it's a slow golem. We're on horseback. It'll never catch us if we don't want it to. So we're just going to kind of approach the farm on horseback and see if it just starts entering combat mode and, walking towards us. I don't think it does. I guess I'll roll an oracle with disadvantage. Does it go into combat mode? No, it does not. So it's reset. It doesn't know who we are or anything like that. So now I guess we're going to go down the tunnel. So Xandor is going to... I wish I had a light spell. He's going to light a torch. And Krundle is going to, hunch over and lead the way down into this Ankeg tunnel. Yeah, I don't know what... I don't know how to adjudicate this one, like the mechanics of fighting an Ankeg down here, finding it, or if it's going to just run or anything like that. We did get Entangle back. We also did a full heal overnight. So, basically, as soon as we see it, she's going to try to entangle it. So she's got that primed. Let me just check. I mean, this is their version of the Ankeg. It has no bonus to... Oh, but it has terrestrial mechanoreception, so it can sense our vibrations as we move. So I don't think there's any chance we surprise it. And I don't think it can really surprise us. So it's more a question of, does it flee right away again? Because it's still, like, nursing its wounds, and it lost its mate, and we injured it and all that. Like, it wouldn't be that surprising if we just ended up chasing this thing forever. And it can sense our approach. So it's not really good. I could see ruling this realistically that it just keeps burrowing away and we never actually end up catching it. Unless we go really just far, far, far in the tunnels. Maybe. But I think we might tire out before it does, especially because we're like hunched over and, carrying a hot torch and all that sort of shit. That's the realistic way, but narratively, that's not super interesting. So I guess sometimes I'll make compromises. Yeah, I don't know. Let's just ask the Oracle. Does the Ankeg stay and try to fight? No. Okay. So it's going to be a chase sequence. We have nothing... We have nothing that can help us catch up to this thing. The only hope, I suppose, is that he's on a straightaway tunnel. We see it, and Mithrix succeeds on an entangle. That's our only hope. So let's just fucking do it. Success. Okay. So now it has to make strength check versus DC 15. But it has a +5 strength, so it's pretty likely. I'll be a little generous, and it's wounded. It's nursing its wound, so it's a little weaker than normal. I'll give it +4. But yeah, if it rolls 11 or higher, it's not stuck. Hoo-hoo-hoo! Okay, we got that bitch entangled. So it's completely immobilized. An ally can use a combat action with a bladed weapon to cut away the entangling material, restore their freedom. It can try to cut itself out, but it has to have a small cutting tool like a dagger. Now, this lasts for 3 rounds otherwise. There's no way for it to break out. Like, it's locked down unless you cut the vines. It's an Ankeg. It can spray acid maybe on the vines, but that's a bit more nebulous. It's horse-sized, so I don't really know if I'll give it the ability to bite vines enough to free itself. I'm not gonna... I don't think so. Which is good for us. We have 3 rounds to put this thing out of its misery, so Xandor is immediately going to magic missile it. Because all he needs is just a little line of sight. I don't know, like I said, it's a weekend, but we'll have it restore a bit of health, so it was at 11, and now it's at 9. Riddiger is going to shoot his bow. It's entangled, it's immobilized, so everything has advantage against it. Crit, excellent, we'll throw a luck token on. And that is a kill for 10 damage. So it just sort of like, writhing, and then he just fires the perfect arrow shot down the way and puts it out of its misery. And that is the end of the Ankegs. Now, technically we already got our treasure for this hex. We got the big loot pile, but I will roll a 50% chance to see if the Ankegs have any treasure. It's not going to be much. They're only level 3, but we'll see. No, there's nothing. Okay. So we could harvest them, and obviously there's no rules for that here, but if we wanted to look here, we could harvest for their mandibles, which fetch 18 gold. Their armored hide fetches 80. Although technically we didn't kill it in one hit. Even if you ignore the magic missile, we still hit it with a sword or something the previous day, so I think its hide is not in perfect condition, but yeah, 80 gold would be pretty good. You could harvest its acid glands, which are worth quite a bit of magical essence or whatever resource for rain of vitriol and vitriolic infusion. Antenna for locate animal / plant and locate object, and mandibles for choking grip and halt humanoid. But we're not playing with any of those rules, so don't worry about it. All right, not too bad in the end. I thought there was going to be like 30 Ankegs, really. This thing definitely plays it pretty light. I don't know if we went down like into the deep south, if there would be encounters which is like, yeah, I mean 2d4 gargoyles, that's probably pretty tough. 32 pirates and 24 orcs. Okay, that's more what we're kind of expecting here. Big packs of enemies. But then here's just 3 satyrs. 2d4 hill giants, 3d4 giant kin. That's pretty good. Okay, sometimes. 1 gelatinous cube, not so much. 2 Otyugs. Yeah, okay. It generally plays it pretty safe. I mean, because you never know where you're gonna start. Because it recommends Moryu here. It recommended, what was it, Kasei maybe was the other one, or Forkare, one of these two for a second one, and then it was Bagoria for a third one. So you could really start almost anywhere. But I would imagine these like Badlands, like 3825, probably has some nasty stuff in it. Kobold settlement of 150 plus. They've mined Kobold and pressed it into trade bars. Oh, but the area is occasionally raided by the genie, bringing 2d6 gnolls and 3d6 bandits with him for support. Alright, well that's more what you were talking about. So we're in the nice safe area, and it might behoove us to move out of here in order to get more treasure and more XP and all that good stuff. It can be a tricky thing with a hex crawl if it's very specifically like layered like this. So you have like nice and safer areas, and then it gets harsher and harsher. It can be tough for players to decide and when to decide to go out and move beyond the comfort zone. Because it's so easy to just bumble into something way outside of your pay grade and you die and everyone's upset and blah, blah, blah. But theoretically, everything is beatable, right? If you're smart and clever and cautious and all that good shit. Anyways, I think we're done with this hex. We are now going to change this text to the lovely, lovely CLR. Clear, baby. So we have earned the Baron title if we go back to Hoolgate and inform them of this. I don't know what that really gives us. I don't know what... Yeah, I mean, I assume he grants us the land or something, but yeah, maybe? What does being a Baron mean? Is that a land-owning title or something? It's probably somewhere in Axe, it'll tell me. Maybe. I don't know if... Titles of nobility. Oh, here you go. Baron. It's the lowest noble title. We have 1 domain. An overall realm of 160 families. Okay. So he granted us barony, a baronial title over that hex. So it's assumed then that there's other families that live in that hex. 3123. Looks like it used to be cultivated land, but has fallen into disrepair. I mean, it's a 6-mile hex. That's a lot of square miles. So I think we can assume that there's other families that used to live here and work this land and stuff. And now that they've been assured that there's no more horrible horse-sized acid-spewing monsters, they'll probably move back because this is good land. There's like an entire field of corn sitting here, that kind of stuff. So, yeah, in time, probably not super quick, but in time, people will move back here and they will start farming the land and pay taxes and all the tithes and all that. So 160 families per, this is going to be what? Civilized? No, Borderlands? I think this is Borderlands. Actually, this is in the yellow text, right? So this is all Borderlands. Yeah, this is all Borderlands. It even calls it Borderlands. Very clear. So in the Borderlands, revenue per family per year. But yes, we also don't have a garrison here. That's true. So, you know, Ankeg showed up once because there's no garrison here, there's no protection really. So it could just happen again. I think this might be month. I think this is all based on month. So yeah, you have costs per family. The garrison, which is 3 gold per month. Liturgies 1, tithes 1, and maintenance 1. So your overall income per family is 6. Based on the various revenue you get. So 6 times 160. 960 gold per month we will earn passively. Assuming we, you know, maintain it and set up a garrison and everything like that and patrols. There's obviously a lot of rules for that, but yeah, and there's domain morale, and you can modify that by putting in more troops and all sorts of different liturgy expenses. You can reduce their taxes, and they like that, and so on and so forth. I mean, it's all just fantastic. I mean, if you are the type of player that, like a video gamer that likes playing city builders and, you know, grand strategy games and shit like that, I mean, RPGs can offer that in a variety and a level of detail hitherto unseen if your group and your DM is willing to put in enough, you know, mental effort and stuff. Yeah. So, I don't think we're going to play this long enough for this to really come into play, but this is exactly what I would sit down and kind of, like, if they did this, I would say, like, okay, well, you know, in time, and I don't know how long it would take for people to come back and everything, maybe like a year, but maybe they only might come back if there is a garrison set up of some kind. So maybe then that would be another thing of, like, okay, you know, it's there if you want to work on it. People aren't going to really settle in this area or anything until they're certain that it's properly safe. I mean, it's safe enough now for you to start construction on something, probably, and get a garrison set up of some kind. But yeah, like, I mean, you're not going to have patrols and stuff that are operating 6-8 miles away from the nearby town. Like, you're going to have to set up a fort. And then probably a town will kind of be built up around that fort, as is generally the case, and then the patrols ride out from there, and you got the farmland, and you get all the good stuff. And you're gonna have to put in a decent amount of money to build that fort. It's not gonna be super cheap, but if you do, you're gonna start getting passive income every month, and you get XP passively from that every month. And what did I say we'd get? Like 960 gold a month? So you can't get 960 XP a month passively because you have a threshold. So at level 3, our threshold per month is 150. So we can't get a lick of XP over that per month, which isn't much. I mean, granted, level 3 to level 4, we need what? Like 8,000 XP total? But that's specifically there to just prevent you from setting up a bunch of campaign stuff And then just like, okay, well, we sit here for 5 years, and now we're gods, or whatever, you know. But yeah, it's a nice thing. Like, you can have hirelings under your command, and you give them like vassal states, and so then they get XP as well. They get half the amount. Yeah. So it's not really going to be a thing that makes you... I mean, it's very specific. Like, even at level 1, like, let's say... like, mercantile income falls under here as well. So, like, level 1, let's say you complete a mercantile venture and you sell a bunch of stuff with arbitrage trading, you make a journey and all that. You sell it, you make a bunch of money. You would only get 25 XP per month. And they have a massive example here of 3 characters launching a mercantile venture for a 500-mile run between Aura and Zidium. Kale4 contributes 30,000 gold. Foggy and Norton each contribute 10,000 gold for a total of 50,000 gold. The funds are used to buy a large sailing ship with 200 structural hit points and 30,000 stones of cargo capacity. On day 1 of month 1, the party hires a captain, navigator, and 18 crew for a month of operations, 252 gold. Kale4 spends 10 days soliciting merchandise for sale in ore, ultimately purchasing 23,750 gold pieces worth of precious merchandise weighing 175 stone. Foggy and Norden solicit 50 passengers and 19,500 stone of cargo for a 500-mile journey. They then load the merchandise onto their vessel and depart. Overall, they spent 13 days in the market, paying 52 gold pieces in moorage and 13 gold pieces for rations. They spend 7 days at sea. Cost of rations for the trip is 24.5 gold. They reach Zidium on day 20, paying a total of 60 gold, which is based on 0.2 copper divided by stone times 30,000 stone, and a tariff of 20% times 23,750 gold. So it costs them 4,750 gold pieces to enter that marketplace. They collect 150 gold from their passengers and 245 gold pieces from their shipping contract. It hardly seems worth it. KL4 now spends 10 days selling their precious merchandise for 29,700 gold, while Foggy and Norton solicit for merchandise to purchase. They purchase 23,750 gold pieces worth of merchandise. They pay more in moorage, rations, blah, blah. At the end of the month, their revenue was 150 gold plus 245 gold plus 29,700 gold equals 30,095 gold. Their expenses were 23,750 in cost of goods, 4,750 in tariffs, 252 in wages, 92 in moorage, 60 in tolls, and 47.5 in rations for a total of 28,951. Their mercantile income was 1,144. Our intrepid adventurers have a return of 2.28% on their 50,000 gold piece venture. Wow. It goes on from there to determine the what their actual like income they take per person. Kale4 got 343 gold, which seems like nothing when you went in with 50,000 to start. The other 50% distributed equally. So he gets another, well, they get a total of 534. If this exceeds their GP threshold, they will earn campaign XP. Even though the venture purchased more merchandise in Zidium, that 23,750 gold purchase was not counted as an expense. The cost of those goods will not be counted until they are sold. Also note that over time, the venture will actually be able to complete 3 trips every 60 days. The first voyage was less profitable on a per-day basis because the venture had nothing to sell while it was buying. Over long periods of time making round trips, the venture will average about 1,570 gold pieces per month in profit. Yeah. So you only get campaign XP if you on the profit you earn. Which makes sense. If the share of profit received exceeds his XP threshold, he earns campaign XP equal to the difference. Okay, wait a minute. So it says, the amount of XP earned from campaign activities is reduced each month by the character's monthly XP threshold. So that's not the limit of what you can earn, it's just a reduction? So, well, I mean, I suppose it makes sense. Oh, okay. That's what that meant. I see. So this other example for this guy for his domain, his income is 16,000 per month. Since he's 9th level, he has an XP threshold of 10,000. Therefore, he earns 16,000 minus 10,000, 6,000 XP per month. If he rules his domain for long enough, he'll eventually become 10th level. At that point, his XP threshold becomes 20,000. And thus, he'll no longer earn XP from his domain unless he raises his domain income. Okay. I think threshold is probably a pretty bad word, but I understand now. Okay, so if you somehow manage to do some sort of arbitrage trading at level 1, which is tricky, no matter what, you'd earn quite a lot if you actually get some profit. Like, say you make 500 gold profit, you'd just reduce that by 25, and you get 475 XP. I would like to do it sometime where we actually try to do, like, an arbitrage trading campaign. Okay, so 960 gold per month we're making from this as income. At level 3, that would be quite a lot. We'd be earning, well, we'd be sharing this. So that'd be 810. Or no, would it be divided? Yeah, I think it would be, so it'd be 960 divided by 4. Yeah, and then reduced by 150. So we'd really only be earning 90 XP per month at this point. But that's because we're all sharing this one domain and it's not very profitable. Interesting. I love this shit, man. It pains me so much that I don't have, like, a group to game with that's also really interested in this shit. And I'm sure I could find a group online, probably, but I just mean, like, my friends and stuff. They're not into this. They want to play draw steel. But yeah, it's fascinating. Like, being able to level up from something that doesn't involve combat is just like, yes, awesome. I mean, that's true of Shadowdark. I mean, yes, technically, all OSR games, really. Where the hell were we? What was I talking about? Oh, right, we got the Barony title. Yeah, we're still in the... Okay, we're still here. We cleared this. We can go back to Hoolgate, get the Barony title, but blah, blah, blah. We want to now go on to 3223 in search of Frost Dragons. I'm not really well equipped to go up the mountains or anything, but we'll poke our head around and see what we find. So let's... I don't think we need to roll... I don't think we can get lost here. Because there's only one direction here that goes towards the fucking mountains. So, yeah, let's roll our random encounter, though. 4 on 3223. All right, it's hot and bright with clear sky. Windy updrafts blast up the cliff faces. Red cliffs. Difficult terrain. A clay brick village can be seen sitting on top of the red cliffs that shoot up from the plains before becoming the Ainga Peaks, Rainwater and snow melt at the upper altitudes results in many small streams that trickle down the cliff faces. We rolled a 4. Dwarf corpse with a sack of rare turmeric can be sold for 83 gold. Well, don't mind if I do. And Mithrix can say a prayer for him, of course, but I'm going to be pocketing this shit. Man, I'm really full up on a lot of slots. Okay, so as she says a prayer, she'll pocket this. Rare turmeric? And that's worth 83. And that, my friends, is worth an XP. So close for her to level up. Oh yeah, the Onkeg infest. Well, we'll leave that for now. We haven't gotten the title yet. Okay, well that's good. We like that. There is a chance to encounter the Frost Dragon here, which would be pretty handy. We wouldn't have to go up there. So there's the village there on top of the red cliffs. It contains about 60 Aarakocra, which are like bird people. And every adult can fight quite effectively. Visitors must leave weapons and armor outside of the town. Do I have Aarakocra in the Shadow Finder? It would be up here before Angels. It's like one of the first ones. No, we do not have Aarakocra. So that is the thing unique that he added here. Visitors must leave weapons and armor outside of the town. The Aarakocra hunt for food on the plains below and are willing to trade a wealth of rations for iron-worked goods. I can't really hold a wealth of rations, and I don't really need them, so... But it's... I'll note it. 1d4 Aarakocra are willing to serve as scouts or guides if paid appropriately. And they hate the Frost Dragon in 3224, as it has eaten several of their number in recent months. They would be willing to help anyone trying to kill it. Okay, so we need to... yeah, we're going to climb up to those cliffs. I assume there's some sort of path. Like, it's difficult terrain, so it kind of takes a while. There's some unsure footing for our horses and stuff, but... yeah, we'll have to spend an hour getting up there. But we will leave our weapons and armor outside of town. And we need to roll for this discovery, which is going to be Charisma versus 9. And I think that's Rittiger. He's our normal charismatic one that everyone likes for some reason. Okay, he succeeds. So he chats. He's chatting up the Aarakocra as we're browsing the marketplace and stuff like that. And he does find out that they, you know, because we mentioned, of course, we're here to hunt for the Frost Dragon. That's why we came. And so they all hate this thing. It's eaten a number of them. And they would be glad to help in our hunt. So I think we'd say that 1d4 Aarakocra are willing to serve as scouts or guides, specifically to help hunt down this Frost Dragon. Which is very good. Let's see how many are willing to come. 4. Okay. We have a raiding party. Aarakocra. Gaunt, lightly feathered, winged humanoid with vulture-like beak and face, long black talons on both hands and feet. So they have spears, they're carrion feeders, carrion trackers. They can do a dive bomb attack. They can fly. If they could carry us and fly us up to the mountain to where this dragon is, that would be pretty darn handy. But I don't think that's really what they're meant to do here. I think they're meant to guide us up into the mountains. They can track dead flesh unerringly within a mile, so it would be handy, I suppose, if the Frost Dragon does have some dead flesh in its lair that we can, you know, that they can track. So, okay, there's no longer a question mark here. We definitely have Frost Dragons. Aarakocra. Fuck. Did I even spell that right? Where the hell am I? 3223. Terra... No, I'm wrong. Yeah, there it is. Okay. Okay. Well, then we will assume it's in 3224, and it is, so they know that it's in the mountain peaks to the east of here. It's going to be a bit of a trek through the mountains, but we have 4 guides. I don't think we can possibly get lost with 4 fucking guides. So we should be good. The only question is... No, I think we'll wait till tomorrow. And let's get another charisma check from Riddiger to see if they feed us, because we're on a great quest. This is DC 9 as well. No, they're not quite that buddy-buddy. So, but we could just pay for food instead of eating rations. They have a wealth of food here, so we'll just pay a gold. I assume they value gold. I mean, they're intelligent, so they probably could trade and stuff with others. Okay, we won't have to roll any encounters or anything for the rest of the day and the night and blah, blah, blah. We're all full up, as usual. I don't think we need to buy anything, except maybe, like... Is there climbing gear or something we could possibly benefit from? There's crampons. Climbing boots. Maybe we could buy more rope, but I'm kind of, like I said, kind of full up. Attach your boot for traction while ice climbing. You can make an inaccessible area open for exploration. When worn, you get +2 bonus and advantage on all climbing tests, but you move at half speed. Okay. I think we... Well, I don't know if we'd say that they have... It's a weird little bird village. They probably don't have stuff like that. They just fucking fly over it. So no, we can't really buy anything. It's gonna be iffy. The only thing that I might want to... I think we're gonna ditch this long sword for now. I suppose I'll just give it to them because they want ironworked goods. Yeah, I just want to try to clear up some slots because there might be a good amount of treasure from this dragon. Oh, this torch is long gone. We don't have that many other torches. We have 4. I guess that's enough. Unless we go down a dungeon. I'll give these over to Xandor. Alright. Yeah, let's set out then the next day. 3224. 5. Alright, it's nearly freezing up here. There's a strong wind from the north. It's drizzling. This is miserable. Arduous terrain. I didn't even know that was a thing. What the hell is that? Arduous terrain? Oh, God. 8 hours per hex. And we left our horses behind, obviously. This isn't a place for them. But yeah, it's like our entire hiking day just to get up here. Which is bad. A beautiful alpine lake has formed in this area in a depression between several large mountains. Chunks of ice float in the water. Anyone approaching the lake immediately feels a strong temperature shift and often a feeling of unease. Anyone who reaches the shoreline will see that the chunks of ice are partially transparent and contain preserved body parts of various animals. Mostly livestock, but a few humanoid forms are visible. Okay. 5. Discarded leather backpack with crampons. Nice! And 150 feet of rope. Holy shit. That's a lot. Because rope in this game comes in 60 feet. That's annoying. Why would you do it that way? Why you gotta break the system all the time? It's really annoying. Fuck it. It's 2 slots. So we'll give it to Crundle. Rope. 150 feet. 2 slots. Okay, and then the crampons. I guess Xandor will just... maybe... no, I guess we'll have Mithrix take him. Crampons. Alright, that's good. A frost dragon layers in an underwater cave beneath the western edge of the lake. There is 20% chance that it's home, and a cumulative 10% chance per hour that it will return. The dragon is a patient and clever hunter. It will try very hard to attack from a position of strength and surprise, preferring to strike hard and then use its breath weapon to cover a tactical retreat if necessary. Jesus. Okay. 20% chance that it's home. 1 through 20. No. Okay. So our guides are smart. They are aware of this dragon, and they track dead flesh. So they're 90% confident that this thing dwells in a lair underneath the water of this lake. Somewhere on the western side. So I guess we're just going to try to wait in ambush for this thing to emerge. We don't know if it's there or if it's coming back, but eventually, if this is a lair, it will be in the air nearby us. So we're going to wait in ambush. The ambush is going to be fairly simple. Mithrix is going to try to entangle it in midair, which, don't ask me how it makes sense. We're just going to do it. And then we're just going to unload. The Aarakocra came as scouts and guides, so they're not really going to fight, but maybe they will. I guess they will, but they're going to roll a morale check if any of them take any damage or are killed. But, you know, it does say that they can fucking fight quite effectively. And they hate this dragon, and they're with 4 adventurers in an ambush. So they will participate. I suppose that's only fair. But they only have spears, so they're going to have to go into melee. So the ambush isn't going to be... It's not going to be amazing. But if we can get this thing entangled... maybe. Possibly. Alright. But that took 8 hours to get to this point. So it's about 3 p.m. We have about 4 hours of daylight left. It's very cold. I'm not going to worry too much about temperature and stuff. I assume we bundled up from the Aarakocra. They gave us, you know, clothing and fur. So we won't worry about that. In a more realistic game, I would. Alright, so there's a cumulative 10% chance per hour that it will return. So the first hour, 3 to 4, it's going to be 0 or 1 to 10%. No. Second hour, 4 to 5. No. Third hour, 5 to 6. No. And then fourth hour, 6 to 7. Yes. As the daylight fades, it finally flies back home. We're quite cold at this point. So this is going to be if we can successfully ambush it. I'm going to give it a -2 to its surprise. So it has to roll a 5 or 6 to notice us and not be surprised. It fails. It's overconfident. It thinks it rules the roost here. I probably should have been rolling random encounters every time, but this video, yeah, I kind of need it to end fairly soon, so we'll just get to the exciting part. But yes, I should have rolled random encounters every hour according to this. I should have rolled at least once. Okay. So Mithrix is going to try to entangle it in midair. It says it causes roots and vines to spring from the ground and grasp the target. But it doesn't say anything about it having to be... on the ground. It does have a range of near, which might affect our ability. It depends on how close we were. Okay. Well, yeah, okay. I guess I'll roll an Oracle if our ambush spot was close enough. Oh, yeah, it was, baby. Oh, yeah, it was the perfect spot. Okay, so she's going to try to entangle this thing as it swoops down towards its lair. Fucking Christ, man. She's the worst. The absolute worst. We're using the luck token. I can't believe how bad she is. Thank you. Now, it's still probably gonna break out. Like, it's not gonna do anything. We probably wasted that token. But, the real problem is that we have to roll the strength check. And I bet this thing has a lot of strength. Oh god, is it a villain? Oh no, it's not a villain. It's in the rule book. Let's see. Shadowdark dragons? Frost dragon. It's a level 14 creature. Good god. It has 17 AC, 68 hit points. It attacks 4 times per turn at +9 for 2d10 damage. Or it can breathe ice, a double near-sized cube, Dex 15 plus, or 48 damage and frozen for 1 round. I think we picked something more than we could chew. It has a +4 strength, though, so it needs to roll an 11 or higher to not be entangled. It did. So the roots shoot out and try to grasp on, but it just sort of, you know, and it was like, you know, a movie moment where it's like, yes, we got him, and then he just like does a spin move and breaks all the vines. But we still have advantage. We still have a surprise round. So Riddiger is going to fire off his short bow, because he does have backstab as long as we're within short range, near range. That's, I mean, it just says, as long as you hit something unaware, you deal an extra weapon dive damage. But he shoots short bow with advantage. That is a hit. 6 damage, plus another d4. 9 damage total. Okay, so he's at 59 hit points. Prundle will shoot his longbow. Okay, so 57 damage. And Xandor is going to... God, I wish I had more stuff. Fire a magic missile. Okay, D4. So 54 health. And that's everything we got. Okay, now we were going to roll initiative. So it's on the ground within 30 feet of us. If we fail initiative, it's just going to breathe its frost breath and roast our entire party, and it's a TPK. Like, almost guaranteed. So let's not fail initiative. I have no luck tokens, so God be with us. Oh, he was. He has a +3 dex, but he'd have to roll a crit. He fumbled. Ooh. Nah, there's no rules for that, so... Nah, well. It was nice. Okay. We have an opening round. Well, we have a full round here to do as much as possible, and the most important thing is to spread the fuck out. So we're gonna get around on all sides of them, including our 4 buddies. And we're gonna try to just cut them down. So Xandor is going to summon an elemental. I think Mithrix should probably try to entangle him again. Like, 50-50 is pretty good, considering it'll be advantage on everything of him being entangled. So we're going to go for this again. Of course, she failed, so that was her turn as she tries to move and reposition and stuff. We're going to summon an elemental. He succeeded. We'll go with fire, of course. Heat this thing up. So that's +3. He has to roll a 14 or higher to hit. He did. So that's 3d4 fire damage. 7. Okay, what was he at? 54. So now he's at 47. Excellent. Riddiger is going to climb around up to his butthole and try to stab him right there in the butt. He misses. And Crundle, I guess, is going to be all up in his face with the sing-song blade. Yeah. Well, are we going to count this as being with... Yeah, he has to have 2 right next to him. If he has 2 right next to him, Dragon's probably going to breathe. But sure, we'll say that 2 of the scouts are joining him side by side. They trust Crundle, so that gives him advantage. Alright, and that is still a miss, unfortunately. Alright, and then we have the 4 Aarakocra. So we need stats for them. They have 2 attacks. Shockingly. So they can do a bite, talon, and a spear, or a spear. It's a little vague. I think it's or. So they can attack with their spear twice per turn. So all 4 of them will attack twice. For d6, they need a 14 or higher. So let's just roll 8 d20. If any of them are 14 or higher. Okay, so 2 of them hit for 2d6 damage. So now he's at 48. No. Oh shit. Now I've lost count. Fuck. Now I've lost count. Okay. 6 damage. 9 damage. 11 damage. 14 damage. That was... Did I count that as a hit? Oh yeah, because of the +3. 14 damage plus 21 damage. Plus 6 is 27 damage. 27 damage. 41 hit points is what he's at. However, one of them rolled a fumble, so the dragon will counterattack on the Aarakocra, which is pretty bad. Because that's going to be +9, and they only have 13 AC. So unless he rolls really... No, that's still a hit. So that's going to be 2d10 damage, and they have 9 hit points. On average, he will die. Okay, not dead, but heavily wounded. Okay. They would get a morale check, but that's going to be on their turn. And now it's the Ice Dragon's turn, the Frost Dragon's turn. He gets 4 fucking attacks. 2 of them are going to be on Crundle, and then the other 2 are going to be on the Aarakocra next to him. Okay, so on the Aarakocra, +9. The first one hit. Second one hit, of course. So the first one also wounded. Second one is dead. They're almost certainly now going to flee. As for Crundle, he has to roll a 10 or higher to hit. He missed both and fumbled, so we will get a counter on that. A hit! Holy shit. Okay, he was at 41, he's down to 30. That is under half. So, depending on how this goes, he's going to make a morale check. Now, I know many people will argue that a dragon should never stand here on land and just claw people. This dragon should be perpetually, like, 30 feet above us, breathing ice breath as much as it can. And what's really crazy is there doesn't seem to be any limit on how much it can breathe. It could breathe its ice breath every turn. Every turn. Which is very, very brutal. So if you want to run combat as war, this thing decimates practically every party, which is why it's fucking level 14. Well, it's part of why. Okay, but we need a new initiative now. 20. Ooh, not good. Yep, that's +3, so that's 21 on his side. He does get to go first. He's going to make a morale check now. He has +4 wills, so he needs to roll an 11 or higher to stay in the fight. He does. He's going to hit Crundle. He's going to attack Crundle 4 times. And yeah, I could argue him flying up, rolling ice breath, blah, 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 is pretty brutal, but so is 4 attacks at +9, dealing 2d10 damage on one character. It's unlikely Crundle survives this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2 hits, so that's 4d10 damage. 22, he's gonna go down. I could splinter his shield, though, to block the... Well, one of them. They're identical. So yeah, I could sunder it. Okay. We're gonna do that. So he breaks his shield on the second hit. So he only takes 11, which is still pretty bad, but we might still be able to survive. It's our turn now. Mithrix is I don't know. She might be better off. Okay, fuck it. Riddiger and Mithrix are going to move around to join Krundle so he can have advantage on his sword swing. It's our best chance. And it's a miss. No luck tokens. The Elemental is going to swing. +3. Fumble. Okay, well, he counters. He's going to hit the thing for 2d10. Does it say how much the Elemental has hit points? No, for some reason it doesn't tell you how many hit points it has. Well, it's an Elemental with level equal to your caster level. So it has 3d8 hit points, so I guess it has like 14 hit points. So it's still here, we're good. Xandor is going to try to cripple him. That's our best bet now. Okay, so Xandor is going to run up and try and touch this to cripple him. Success. Okay, the touch reduces a random stat by 1d6. So that stat is going to be Charisma, reduced by 6. Yeah, I don't think that really bothers him too much. Unless he has... No, he's got 3 Charisma. But target experiences severe pain when touched, must make a con check versus DC 15 or be incapacitated for 2 rounds. Which means pretty bad news. It's never defined, but I think we did go to Axe for conditions. It can't attack, cast spells, or undertake dedicated activities of any sort. Moves at half speed, cannot run or force march. Yes. So it's pretty bad news for it. It'll almost certainly try to fly away and flee at that point in crippling pain. But it has a con check of +5, so it needs a 10 or higher. It succeeds. Okay, so the pain is, it shrugs it off. It's not bothered. I tried. All right, Riddiger is just going to try to stab. 3 more damage. So it was at... Was that 41 before I did the big hit? Right, it was at 30. So now I dropped it to 27. And Mithrix then will just try to swing her mace. Miss. Okay. We lost initiative that turn, which was painful, but now we can win initiative back. 20 versus... Ooh, 19. Barely got it. Okay, Xandor's going to try to cripple it again. Success. We reduce its wisdom, I think. Pretty sure that's how that's structured. Yes, it would be wisdom. We reduce its wisdom by 3. Again, I just feel like Cripple's never actually going to kill something by reducing its stats to 0, but that's mostly because I don't know... I mean, yeah, I guess. It's not really the main reason why you use Cripple. I mean, he has a Charisma of +3, which means it's like, what, 15? I reduce it by 6 to 9? It would be a really lucky string of rolls to kill something with that. Maybe if it has a minus and you get lucky. Anyways, but it has to make that con check again, 10 or higher. Oh, failed! We got it! Incapacitated. It cannot attack and moves at half speed, so it can only fly at near speed. And it can't run, so it's just near movement per turn. But we are near the water, and he's probably going to fly down into there. But maybe we can do some damage. He's at 27 hit points. The Elemental swings, misses. Krundle swings with advantage. There you go, baby! 15. It's at 15 hit points. Yeah. Okay. It still doesn't give us great odds of killing it, but we'll see. Dagger, miss, and the mace, miss. Okay. It's gonna move now. I'm gonna be generous because I think this is pretty epic. And it sort of limps up into the air and it starts flying towards the water. So it's like, yeah, I mean the timing of that doesn't really make much sense, but it's currently flying towards the water right now, at the end of the round. So if we either win initiative here and kill it, or we don't. And the problem is now he's in air, so melee is going to be tricky. I don't have many options. But anyways, he's at 15 hit points. Let's roll initiative. Crit. Ooh. Okay. I guess it doesn't matter who I give it to, but we got it. Okay, well, yeah. Oh, and he rolled a 1. Oh my god. How can I not give us something for that? I mean, we crit, he rolled a 1. Come on. We gotta get something for that. So, fuck it. We're saying that he sort of like limped and dipped down. So he's like at the edge of the... He's at the edge of the lake. He's like right at the shore, but he dipped down close enough that we could melee him. I'm giving us the melee opportunity. So this is everything we got now. We're gonna start with magic missile. Fuck. I mean, it's only 1d4. I think we'd be better off giving it to Crundle, but he's already... Yeah, okay. Fuck it. The Elemental rushes up. Misses. Rittiger rushes up. Hits. For sure. He was at, what, 17? 15? 15. He was at 15, so now he's at 11. Mithrix rushes up with the mace. Oh, hits! He's at 7 health. Crundle! You have a luck token and you get advantage because you're with your buddies. Side by side. Yes. Yes, it is done. Now, was that fair? Well, no. I mean, not especially, right? Because, like I said, if you're going to run it as combat as war, rather than like, oh, well, we just want like a nice cinematic experience and the players slaying the evil frost dragon and it's so exciting and blah, blah, blah. It's like combat as war. As soon as he, you know, broke out of the entangle and saw that there was a group sitting down there, he would have just stayed up in the air and breathed his frost breath like 30 times until they were just all ice statues. And that would have been the end of it. Like, he would, why would he ever land? There is no limit to his ice breath. And it's just the ultimate killer. That's how he kills probably everything. Like, why would he fucking land where they have swords and spears? It doesn't make any sense. But, you know, I mean, that is why they limit ice breath. But even then, he could just keep flying until his ice breath comes back, and then he does ice breath some more until you're all fucking dead. You know, that's combat as war. It makes no sense for a dragon to do otherwise. This is a very intelligent creature. That's just a little rough on players, especially if they're not also really into combat as war. But there are, I'm sure, plenty of players that are like, yeah, that's what a dragon would fucking do. That's why they're terrifying and they live thousands of years. Because they're not idiots and that's what they do. And killing a dragon should be an immensely difficult task. So I played this very much like, you know, D&D or Pathfinder or something where it's just, oh, there's a dragon up in the mountains. Let's just hike up there and kill it. And it would have been a good opportunity, I suppose, if a DM wanted to be like, yeah, okay, guys, here's how that's going to go. and this TPK, and like, okay, I hope you learned your lesson. There are pros and cons to both approaches. I mean, I guess. I could have very easily died. I mean, I certainly got quite lucky. And it helps that Crundle's a fucking boss. He did a lot of damage to that thing. And I otherwise ran its stats as it was, you know. I mean, yeah, it helped that I had a couple Aarakocra there to soak up some hits. But he did have to sunder his shield and everything. So, you know, I guess we'll give him Mithric's Height Shield. But there you go. Killed. Now, we don't get any XP for that, by the way. Nothing. This is a 14 hit dice monster, though. So according to Axe, if we killed that, it would be worth probably, what? It must have... Well, hold on now. Yeah, how many special abilities does it have? This would be a 14 hit dice dragon, so an old dragon that has 3 abilities. Okay, that's quite a bit. It depends on if it's speechless or speaking then. But, yeah, assuming it was speechless, it didn't say anything to us. 4,900 XP. Which isn't, like, an insane amount, but that's just for killing it, and it's gonna have treasure. I mean, this thing has an in here, an R treasure type. Which is worth 45,000 gold on average. AKA 45,000 XP. And then that's not even mentioning the magic item treasure. Which is an average of 250,000 gold. So yeah, I mean... we don't get anything. 3224. And our guides have all fled. So that's unfortunate. 3224, sorry. So it even says here, it's a patient and clever hunter who will try very hard to attack from a position of strength and surprise, preferring to strike hard and then use its breath weapon to cover a tactical retreat if necessary. It would have done that had it not been incapacitated and couldn't attack. So, yeah. I mean, I tried to follow that, I guess. The dragon has buried 4 separate chests of solid iron in different locations on the bottom of the lake. 3 of the chests contain 200 plus 10d6 gold pieces. The 4th contains hundreds of chipped and broken copper pieces. If the PCs spend 10 minutes digging through the copper, they'll find that a genie lamp is hidden beneath the surface. Now that's all well and good. Except we have chests buried at the bottom of a lake at the top of an icy mountain. The logistics here of even finding this stuff is practically impossible. Now you'd think that he would just have it in his lair. Which is also an underwater cave, which is also annoying and tricky to get into. But no, if we went into the lair, we'd find nothing. Which would probably lead us to suspect, if you are at least somewhat knowledgeable about RPGs, that his treasure is located in a more hidden location. But digging and burying, like this is crazy. And, like, draining the lake is insane. We pretty much are going to have to find magic in order to locate treasure. That's the only hope. And that's just for finding the treasure. Then we have to worry about the logistics of digging it up underwater and pulling it out in freezing temperatures and being able to hold our breath. This is going to require multiple magic spells. Yeah, I mean... Endure elements, deep breath, and... I thought there was one that was like locate treasure or something like that. I mean, I know there's spells for that somewhere. I just don't know if it's in Shadowdark or not. If not, we can just make it up. It's fine, man. It's probably not that high level of a spell. And there's a... I know it's in... Yeah, Endure Elements, 10 rounds. Protects against damage due to hazardous environmental conditions like cold, heat, wind, and so on. Yeah. A round is a nebulous time period, but out of combat it can be... It's like an hour. So let's say we have an hour. And Deep Breath is 12 rounds, so even more than an hour. So that's all well and good. We just have to get these spells, come back up here, dig up the treasure, and take it back down. And also get the spell for treasure finding. I know it exists somewhere. Augury, maybe. Yeah, not really. Probing question. Oh, locate object, maybe. It's a level 2 cleric spell. Yeah, we could use locate object to just find gold, like a gold piece or something. Although we're carrying gold pieces, so we'd have to leave all those behind to do it that way. So that's going to cost money to buy all these scrolls, assuming we can buy scrolls. If not, we're just completely fucked. Then it's like a whole other quest to find like some other means of doing it, like some magical item we have to hear about and hunt down, or some herbal thing that allows us to breathe underwater that we have to also track down and find, you know, all sorts of stuff. And if we do all this stuff, we get, let's see, 600 gold plus an average of 30, 70, 100, 105, so 705 gold. We'd get 705 gold. And then probably a genie lamp. Which is maybe really good. It's probably pretty nice. Sort of questionable, maybe. Genie lamp. Rubbing the lamp causes resident genie 50% chance or a Freedy 50% chance to emerge. Genie grants its summoner one wish spell before disappearing. And a Freedy does the same, but only after being defeated in combat. Brilliant. A fucking Afridi. Which is almost certainly not easy. It's level 9. Only damaged by magical sources. Fire immune. Can cast Wall of Flame. 43 hit points, 15 AC, 3 scimitar attacks, a +8 for 2d10. It's basically just like another frost dragon we'd have to fight. And that would all just be to cast Wish. What the fuck? Wait, what? How did I... Oh, I really lost it here. Jesus. Wish. Make a single wish, stating it as exactly as possible. Your wish occurs as interpreted by the GM. Yeah, we could wish for anything, really. And depending on the DM and how much of a dick they are, they'll try to screw you or not screw you. Who knows? So, yeah, 700 gold and maybe a wish if we survive perhaps another combat or not. Is that worth it? I mean, I guess 700 gold is worth XP. The genie lamp's certainly worth some XP. But it's a lot of effort when we could just not do any of that and find other ways to get XP. Like, it's hard to say. I think that's a really kind of dickish treasure haul for killing a fucking frost dragon. Especially so close to, like, the starting area. So if I were DMing, I'd probably just put the treasure in its underwater lair. Which is kind of tricky enough to get into, you know. Going underwater and maybe kind of tuck it in the back so it's a little tricky, a little risky or something. But if you can get in there, because then you also have to haul that all out of there. It's a lot of coins that might weigh you down or something, like, you know, I don't know. I think it's enough. I think it's enough. It's crazy. Okay, yeah. So that's that. I mean, I'm quite pleased that we killed it, but it's also one of those things like it probably shouldn't have been that easy, right? I mean, it wasn't that easy, but really only Grundle took damage. We lost a shield, and that's it. But, I mean, honestly, so far we lost far more than we gained. And even if, like I said, we assumed, or even if I did put the treasure in the cave, is someone going to dive down there and go into the lair to find it? I then have to kind of figure out, like, how dangerous I want to make that and how risky. I mean, it's a pretty cold water. Chunks of ice are floating in it. But I guess... I guess we'll worry about that next time. I think we've done well here, and we should get something. I would say I would probably have the Aarakocra reward you. Like, they certainly have some magic items. I mean, come on. And I like to have quest rewards. Maybe it's just my MMO brain or something like that, or, you know, but I like to have quest rewards. This was a big quest. No one else gave us this quest, but these guys seem like they're most directly impacted by the Frost Dragon. So they would be very grateful that it's dead, even if they did lose. They lost one, right? They lost one brother. But that's okay, because it prevented many more from dying. So they're going to give us some kind of goodie. Or maybe a couple goodies or something like that. I mean, we got to get a win here. But we'll figure out what to do or do anything with this underwater layer next time. But yeah, so far so good. My name is Mang. This has been Solo Roll Manging with Shadowdark. And I'll see you fine folks in the next part.